The landscape of project management is continuously evolving. Welcome to this panel discussion on project management, the new. Hi, I am Anil Purushothaman. I teach project management at IPER, Bhopal. Today we live in an environment that is characterized by rapidly increasing technological facilities, the ever-changing project complexities, the advent of AI. Between these ever-changing factors, the critical ability to manage projects effectively still remains the most challenging characteristics in project managers. Thanks to the standards set by project management frameworks such as the PMI framework or the Prince2 framework, that provides knowledge areas that are the resource management knowledge area, the schedule management knowledge area, scope management, risk management, and so on. This has paved a very standard specifications and very standard way of functioning for the project professionals. Among these standards, the biggest change today is the advent of data analytics. Huge amount of data is available today for processing. Huge processing power is available, and AI is there to process this data in projects also. In this scenario, our discussion today will observe and analyze this intersection of project management and the use of AI and data analytics in enhancing the capabilities of project professionals in successfully delivering projects to organizations. Let me welcome in today's panel discussion the members of the panel, Dr. Arjun Murti, Professor Pallavi, Dr. Shainu Mathew, Professor Manish Nair, Professor Yashveer, and Dr. Madhukar. So I will begin with Dr. Arjun Murti sir. Arjun sir, we hear a lot about the project planning and project scheduling, the phases of project management. What is the role of planning and scheduling in projects today?
Sir, I would be very happy to share about the details. The question which you have raised in regard to project planning and scheduling. Basically, project planning and scheduling are the backbone of project management. Say, if we talk from the traditional perspective, we have some of the established institutions like Project Management Body of Knowledge, PMI standards. There are around 49 processes which are there listed in details. If we look into the basic level, it all starts from the scope definition, what the scope is all about. Followed by that, we move in terms of breaking down the work into work breakdown structure. After that, we try to establish the dependencies of the activities which are to be undertaken. Followed by that, we have estimation of the time and cost which would be required in terms of completion of that particular project. Looking into that, we will be going towards allocation of resources, be it manpower, be it material, be it machines and other facilities. And then we establish the baseline schedule as and when the project needs to be completed. So this is the traditional outlook in terms of planning. But when we talk in terms of scheduling, we have tools like Gantt chart, which is providing a diagrammatic schematic diagram, graphical representation of the pre-dependencies of the task. Then we have critical path method known as CPM, developed by DuPont. And when the tasks are have in probabilistic in nature, wherein we do not know exact time frame as in when a task might be done, say having a pessimistic time, optimistic time, and the likes, we go in for program evaluation review technique known as PERT. So these are different tools which are being put to use in traditional project management system. So earlier these things used to be done in a manual manner. Over the time period, with the advent of technology, we started using say operating systems wherein MS Project is there into play at present, and in the coming times we need to see how AI would be transforming this.
Manish sir, Arjun sir has been talking about the traditional approach to project management. There is another approach which is called the agile approach. What is the agile approach and how is it different from the traditional approach?
Well, I'd like to differentiate between the traditional project management and the agile project management that is there in place today. Traditionally, if you talk about project management, it is all about 10 knowledge areas, 49 processes, and 5 phases. A project manager is a person who understands all these 10 knowledge areas, 49 processes, and 5 life cycles. The person is able to map all these three things together. So that is the approach that we had in a traditional project management. But if you summarize it further, okay, in short, if I talk about project management in a layman's language, it is all about processes and tools. It is all about comprehensive documentation. It is about contract negotiation, and it is about planning.
Pallavi madam, risk has always been a central point of topic in projects. How do project managers ensure risk management, risk mitigation, uh, using the standard approach, the traditional project management approach?
Sir, I would completely agree with you that any business, any project is not without risk. So, risk, some percent or the other, is involved in any of the project. So, if we talk retrospectively, we had to take care of the project management process within risk management, that is like risk identification, assessment of the risk prioritization, risk mitigation planning, and risk monitoring, which means starting from the first, we have to identify the risk. We have to take care of the assessment of the risk, that what risk is going to be potentially be more harmful for the project. We have to understand what risk involved is more to be prioritized, which has to be addressed the first and which has to be addressed the last. Apart from that, we have risk mitigation planning, how this risk could be mitigated and how it could be taken care of. The next comes what all potential risks which could come within the play are to be monitored. Now, within this area, this is the area of project management process. Now, with respect to AI is helping us reduce this planning process and helping the basic planning process for the managers by within this all these steps. It is helping us identifying the risk, assessing the risk, prioritizing the risk, and all these processes have been taken care by AI nowadays. So it becomes much more easier for the managers to take care of this.
So Pallavi madam told about the risk register. The risk register is a very important deliverable in projects where that is the first starting point where the project managers are entering the risks that might convert into issues. And risk mitigation is an important process in projects, and the impact of proper risk management is a successful project. Another important aspect is the resource management, where the resource allocation, resource optimization, resource overloading, these are the aspects that are addressed, and it is very critical aspect of projects. Like Arjun sir told us earlier, that scheduling is impacted by how the resources are loaded. So therefore, risk and resource management forms a key aspect, and we'll later on visit how AI impacts these areas. There is another area which is the uh, ethics and governance in projects. So now, ethics and governance in projects, traditionally, how it is taken care of today. Let us hear from Yashveer sir. Yashveer sir, how is this ethics and governance taken care today? At a later stage, we will discuss how AI has impacted this area.
Sir, ethics, governance, and I would like to add security as well. Environment, we can start with these kind of things like ethics. Some few things like very important when we talk about the project management. It is honesty, fairness, and the accountability, and who is responsible for what. So in this manner, PMI has some code of conduct and their own processes, which we have to always follow accordingly. Once you follow those processes, so then honesty and the responsibility are definitely by default is going to set. In the same manner, we can talk about security. is very important because you are dealing with the projects and huge capital is invested and involved in these kind of things. Then resources and infrastructure and all the data which is very sensitive for that specific project, it will be kept very secure. So in that way, we are doing traditionally with the given framework from the PMI. I can talk about we are having ISO 2025 and in that manner. And lastly, governance is always there. We need to follow some selected and decided procedures. In this manner, governance is working on that, some fixed ideologies and Prince 2 kind of softwares are there which are actually dealing with this kind of.
Okay, so Yashveer sir told us that the Prince 2 approach and the PMI approach, these are the approaches that has ensured ethics and governance in project management. There is another area, Madhukar sir, is the competencies, the professional competencies of project manager. What are the professional competencies required in a project manager today?
Traditionally, if we talk about project manager, he has a key responsibility or key role from the inception till the end or handover, you can say. So, key responsibilities is first is and at most is defining scope. Then, after scope, you need to plan accordingly. Once the scope is clear, then the planning goes as per the scope. Then, second is scheduling and time management. Then comes budget and cost control. Then comes managing the team. Then comes talking to stakeholders or communication with stakeholders. And then he has to take care of quality also, quality parameters. Then he has to manage risk also, as Pallavi Madam told, risk parameters, which is the greatest risk, like that. Then he has to do the documentation, again, very critical. These are all the key aspects or key responsibilities he has to take care as a traditional approach. For taking care of these responsibilities, he has to have certain competencies, like he has to be a leader, then he has to be a integrator, he has to be a communicator. So he has to have responsibilities and he has to have certain core competencies too.
I remember when we take the classes of project management, we often talk about the core competencies of a project manager. One of the core competency is leadership, another is the knowledge of technology and the knowledge of business administration, these business strategies. Uh, I'll ask Shainu sir to tell us more about the importance of leadership as a core competency in project managers today.
So as we say, as you have said that project manager should be a good leader, but we have to understand there are two aspects for a project manager. First is the framework. First is the framework of the project management, and second is his personal traits. So if we first look in the from the project management stage, he has to follow certain framework as earlier Dr. Arjun Murti sir has said, as Professor Manish sir has said, like here the framework is divided into some 49 processes. These processes are further categorized into five phases. Like the five phases includes the initiating stage, the initiating phase. Then it comes the execution stage. Then comes the planning. Then the monitoring and control, and finally the closing stage. Actually, these phases are actually categorized into certain knowledge areas. There are 10 knowledge areas. So if we start from the knowledge areas, first we have to understand who are the stakeholders. Then comes the second part. There is the documentation stage where the project management manager is given the complete authority and the complete plan, foolproof plan where he has to take on later on. Then the phases starts. Earlier, actually, I've said that it would be from the initiating stage. Then comes the planning. Earlier, I've said I've interchanged from the planning and the execution. The second would be the planning. Third would be the execution,
Yeah.
and finally would be the monitoring and control, and the last stage would be the closing. Earlier I have discussed about the execution in the second part, but from the project manager's perspective, it would be the third part. This is the first. This is the first aspect of the project manager from the project management stage. When we come to the personal traits, like as Dr. Madhukar sir has said, he should be a good leader. But if we sum it up, he should be a visionary, self-motivated. He should be self-motivated. He should be actually future-looking, because the project actually is not a should be it is not in a current stage. We work in a current stage, but the results appears in the future stage. So what happens? He has to be future oriented, and all these things has to be aligned with the stakeholder objective, and actually it would be cost and cost benefit also. That is the main role of a project manager.
So like you said, the 10 knowledge areas of project management, we talked about the scope management, we talked about schedule management, we talked about the risk management, cost management, and the resource management. These areas makes projects, they give the project the framework which is very necessary for a successful project completion. There is another area now which is coming up is data. Every project is today collecting huge amount of data, and we have sophisticated data analytics tools available also. We talk about the intervention of human and AI in projects. Let us begin with Arjun sir. Arjun sir, how do you see the impact of the use of AI and data analytics?
Sir, basically AI has transformed the way how the projects are being taken. In the present day, in case if we talk from that particular perspective, say it is not only meant for planning. Say we have lot many other activities, say scheduled slippages. In terms, if we look in terms of forecasting the data based on the historical data which is available, what kind of risk a project would face, how to mitigate that particular risk. Apart from that, we have real-time scheduling which could be undertaken using AI. Apart from that, we have automated variance detection, which enables the project managers to say bring in some of the alternative measures. We can have different simulations which could be undertaken for the different schedules which we have, how the resources could be loaded, if the resources are idle, how to put them into use with minimal cost and with maximizing our productivity, so that the time completion for that project could be minimized. At the same time, for the betterment of our client, the project could be handed over to them on time. So that way it would be helping us in the traditional problem which we faced about time and cost overruns with projects. So AI is helping us in terms of handling this particular problem.
This is getting very interesting. The project management, the principles that are used today, they have a history from the Second World War. During the Second World War, the militaries were planning using these so-called today's diagrams that are used for planning projects, the Gantt charts, the network diagrams, the PERT and CPM. The critical path method specifically has a history with our wars. Now, today we have software that are AI enabled, and they are providing a lot of support in generating these diagrams. But the first software that was introduced was Primavera, and Primavera was introduced around in 1980s during the MS-DOS era. And today we have a lot more sophisticated software even from Microsoft. We have Microsoft Project, and the previous versions of Microsoft Projects helped in generating the diagrams and the scheduling and resource management. However, today we have Copilot, which is an AI capability added to Microsoft Project, and we need to see how the huge amount of data which is available and the AI capability in Copilot in MS Project, or likewise there are more AI software into project management like Monday.com or Rike. These software are AI enabled, and the impact has to be seen. Pallavi madam, how has AI impacted in risk mitigation, analyzing risk and preventing them from turning into issues?
Sir, what I opine is that previously, within the previous retrospective projects, also we have seen risks, but and now also we are dealing with risks. But previously it was a bit easier because we had less amount of data. We were dealing with less data, so everything was done on pen and paper, and it was more prone to risk mitigation and risk assessment. Previously, also the same task was done, but now since we are dealing with more agile systems, as Manish sir has also told that agile in AI, we are addressing the bottlenecks which are there within the project. So we are understanding where, suppose if we are using the tools which you have mentioned like MS Project, Monday.com, all these projects, all these tools use now tell us that within the, suppose within the Gantt chart, if we are preparing the Gantt chart, so we understand that within one task, we are lacking down the resources. Now we can understand that if resources are lacking down, AI will predict that within this particular area the resources lack. So we can allocate the resources properly. Also, it can help us tell that which of the personnel or which of the manager is having more of the work. So it helps reduce the burnout problems of the persons. So that's how risk could be mitigated. Plus, apart from this, the collaboration of AI and managers, the human intelligence as well as AI within project management. Since AI can give predictive decisions, that this decision could be taken by the manager. Now, what happens is if a manager uses his own experience and his own intelligence, now he can give good decision making and he can reduce the risks. Not every manager is same. Some manager could be risk averse, some managers could be risk takers. So understanding the dependency of his own risk taking capacity, he can take decisions as per the convenience of the business and as per his own decision making capacity. That's how AI can implement the decision making of the managers, I think.
So a lot of data is coming into the systems that are processing for project management today. Like Manish sir said, that predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics is something that needs a lot of data, and the processing requires data. But this calls us for another area in the ethics and governance, which is the storing of these data in systems which are on cloud. Cloud computing is a very integral part of today's technology. AI, in addition to that, processing the data and generating information which was previously unseen by project professionals in the form of predictive and prescriptive analytics, like we discussed earlier. Uh, Yashveer sir, what is the effect of ethics? What is the effect of governance? What are the safeguards required? I have heard about algorithmic bias. What do you see the impact of AI in ethics and governance today?
Its limitations start there only. And whatever we are giving to that AI, that data they are actually doing, or they are decision. AI is taking decision on the basis of that data. So in this situation, biasness could be there, and transparency and the accountability will be again there. That we can't directly blame that this is a mistake of AI. We need to find it out who was accountable for that specific purpose. Might be possible like resources or the managers who are taking of that. And the most important thing is the security of data. So algorithm, it is as simple as this. Algorithm is AI is taking data from, and when they are taking decision, they are using that data. So this algorithm they are using to take further decision. When we talk about this, we are providing some data from the past. AI is generating a result on the basis of that data. AI is taking their decision on the basis of the data of the previous experiences, whatever they prompted to AI. So biasness is always possible, sir. And the same thing happened with the transparency as well. The next decision, next project decision, how AI will take this thing. Once or until unless you are not prompting or not giving that data to AI, it is biased in the data we shared with that one. So security concern and ethics and the responsibility always will be there when we talk about the data driven by AI. In this manner, AI need to more into the like we should have some new governance toward the AI usage. We should make our policy changes and the people more responsible who will be the accountable for that final process or the result. In this manner, sir, biasness is definitely possible.
So, Yashveer sir, a lot of change has been indicated in the ethics and governance area after the advent of AI, like you rightly suggested. Today, AI is in our daily life. Every aspect of business also is impacted by AI. How are industries going to hire the new project professionals? What capabilities are they going to see? We'll talk to Madhukar sir on this. Madhukar sir, today organizations, when they are hiring project managers, project professionals into the workforce, what are the new capabilities they are going to look for?
Yeah, actually, the scenario is changing fast. AI is taking almost all the tasks or uh, planning being done or at steps those we take used to take manually now being done by AI. So definitely the role of manager changes. The key roles now are he has to plan scenario now. Earlier he used to do planning on the basis of schedule. Now he has to plan the scenario. The role changes. Then he need to select the tools which a tool he requires and the integration of those tools. Then what processes or things can be automated. The repetitive things, those can be automated. So need to take care of those also. You need to identify those. Then comes the strategy. Focus on the strategy value, not the strategy alone. You need to take care of strategy value. Then, as Yashveer sir and Manish sir also told, the quality of data. Because whatever you give, the output would be like that. Simple terms, garbage in, garbage out. So we need to take care of what data we are giving. So data, then pattern recognition. What is going on around in terms of patterns. So that need to take care of by the manager itself. Then additionally, you need to take care of ethical AI implementation. That is also a task of again manager, project manager. Then last is critically reviewing the output provided by the AI. That would be the most important aspect because AI can give you the output, but it is right or not, that is going to work or not, is the responsibility of the manager. So we need to take care of that. Whether output is okay, then it should go ahead. If it's not okay, then we need to take care of how we can further take care of help AI or shall I use my experience to go ahead. That's the responsibility.
So we see today from this discussion also, we identify that AI has become a member. It is now like a member. There are AI agents we hear today as a member in the team of projects. So the project manager has to have a flexible approach towards technology and use of AI. And in this aspect, today, what is the role of project manager? If I go to Shainu sir and ask Shainu sir, what is the role of project managers now in this changing environment?
So currently speaking, if we say that the role of project managers is indispensable because you cannot take away the project manager from the project manager because if a project manager is not there, so the project management would be literally can be said as a fail. Whatever techniques, whatever phases, or whatever knowledge areas we introduce, if a project manager is not there, AI cannot solve all those things. What happens? The project manager is actually like when we put some data in AI, it only shows the result, how it has been calculated, or how the result has appeared there. It is not shown. So there are certain critical things like if there are certain changes in certain scenario, it cannot be done by an AI. It has to be there should be a manual intervention there. So the role of project manager increases in those areas. So if we sum up all those things, what happens? A project manager has a role of a value realization, or in finance terms, we can say that he actually is the main person who is behind the return on investment, because the stakeholders want results. They want the money back what they have put out. So if the project manager doesn't understand the project, if he doesn't put what areas, what tools, he doesn't put the correct tools at the right time. So if it doesn't put those things, the result would not be there. So there is the value realization in those project management is critical. Then comes the we can say that the cross functional integration. That means he has to align with different departments. It might be a IT department, it might be a finance department. So there are internal politics also. AI cannot handle those politics. It has to be managed by a project manager only, because he has to overlook all those things and has to follow the objective of the business. Second comes the risk mitigation. Risk mitigation, as we have talked earlier, also, a project manager is a we can say that is an earlier warning system. We can say that, because whatever happens, he can catch the trend, he can change it, and he can modify it. And AI just walks on the path that we have given to them. It just follows a simple path that we have followed, not a calculated path. We can say not a it cannot be changed. So the role of project manager, increase in those areas. Second comes the resource management, or the data-driven decision support system, which the project manager has to optimize or has to modify from time to time based on the current market situation, based on the objectives of the stakeholders. And finally comes the trust of the stakeholder. A stakeholder cannot trust a AI. Actually, the stakeholder sees only the project manager, how it has happened, how the things are done. He doesn't. It is no, The stakeholder is not interested. He is interested only with the final result. So AI just helps him to complete those tasks, but the trust can be earned from the project manager itself. So the role of a project manager is indispensable. It cannot be removed from the project manager.
So our discussion is now taking us towards an area where we need to understand whether from 5 to 10 years from now, whether the projects are going to see new capabilities, new features, or is it going to be a concern? Is the advent of AI becoming a concern in the future, or is it going to enhance the capabilities of project professionals? Let us understand from Dr. Murti. Dr. Murti, in planning and scheduling, do you see new capabilities coming up in the future in the next 5-10 years, or do you see some concern areas?
Sir, see, AI is specifically there as a tool which is available to all the project managers. But too much dependency on AI would bring in perils. Per se, it would kill the critical thinking capabilities of a project manager as such. Rather than entirely depending on the results which are being generated by the tool, one should not rely on that completely. So the data quality could be poor, so that way the results or outcome will not be correct. So we need to have a human intervention which needs to look in wherein what all set of tasks. So rather than being just a planner using AI for projects, means we can call them as AI strategist or a project manager strategist using AI.
Okay. So Manish sir, do you see that in future there would be project managers with more intuitive and experience-backed capabilities and using AI for analyzing the huge amount of data? How do you see the future for project managers?
Well, I don't think that experience of project manager will be taken into account as such, because from estimation calculation, we are moving on to a different type of approach, which is known as evidence-based approach. When you say evidence-based approach, your decisions are driven by the data. So whether you are experienced, whether you are fresher, that is not important. If you are able to understand or if you are able to apply the evidence-based approach in executing the projects that you are doing, that's the only thing. For the next 5 years or even in the future, AI is going to be there and it is going to replace your traditional estimation and calculation mechanism because you need results faster. So that is why I said in one sentence I would say evidence-based approach is going to be there.
Okay. So, Pallavi madam, what one capability would organizations be ensuring in the future?
Sir, what I understand is when we are talk about organizations, of course, the managers, the human intelligence is the most important. We cannot completely work on machines. There would be no time in future then that we are completely working on machines and we have no human intervention. So human intervention is a must, but helping humans with the help of technology would be more important. So AI or as we have already been talking about the so-called agentic AI concept. So AI is going to take as a helping hand to human intervention. AI can help us predict risks. It can help us because we are already feeding it with the historical data. It is dealing with enormous number of data every day. So it can draw patterns of the historical data. It can tell us that this was the pattern, this was the trend, and now you can act accordingly. So, with the human intervention, with the project managers, they can take help of that historical trends which have been happening, and they can also take care of their own intelligence. They can put in their complete intelligence into it, and then they can make proper decisions, better decisions, and then they can help mitigate the risks. I would definitely talk about the risk within this area. Apart, if we talk about the planning and scheduling part, AI can help us probabilistic planning within the area of project management. So if we are running out of resources at some point of time, humans as a manager, we cannot be completely able to foresee where the resources are going draining out. So AI can help us tell that for this particular day, we are going to drain out of the resources. So this can help us reduce the risk which we are dealing with.
Yashveer sir, do you see issues in ethics and governance in terms of security with the use of AI today? What are the new challenges, risks, and issues that you see with the advent of AI in terms of security 5 years from
So
now?
as we are going to take or AI is actually replacing the human intervention in the situation. AI security wise will definitely will be developed in the future. But we need to make it sure that it is taking care of all the ethics, governance, and the security which is actually needed for the project. So definitely they must be having in future very strong kind of data-driven technology which is very safe to use and your data is safe and resources are there and they are also safe in that condition. We can talk about that responsible AI must be there who is further taking care of all the ethics and everything by their own. So this kind of technology will be there in near future because most of the industry projects are taken care by the AI. So definitely I understand that AI is getting more stronger in the future.
Madhukar sir, how do you see the project manager enhancing his capabilities with the use of AI? Where do you see the role of project manager 5 years from now?
Future for project manager, I see as now he's taking care of the customer, the stakeholder. The center is customer or the stakeholder. The future is AI and customer. It will be the center. Other things will be moving around it. So customer will remain focused with the help of AI. Customer and AI, जो combination, with the combination, that combination is going to work in future. That is one. Another, which I see that most of the businesses right now also, they are doing or taking the help of AI, like uh, creating value proposition for customers, personalized promotions for customers, or optimizing the production or operational cost that is being done with the help of AI. I see that it is going to play more wider role in future. Now, only big companies are using AI. In future, small and medium companies are going to use this AI. So this is the going to be future for AI.
Shainu sir, moving one step ahead from the role of project manager that we have been discussing, how does the industry and the project management approach in the industry change with these new AI capabilities?
Sir, adding further, as what Dr. Madhukar sir has said, that like if we add AI in project management, like I said, a project manager cannot be removed from project management. If we see in the future also, we cannot remove the AI from the project management. So these are indispensable. They are not separatable. They cannot be separated. As earlier, when we were looking in the project manager, we were looking at its traits, personality traits, like he should be a good leader, he should be a visionary, self-motivated. But when we are talking through from the AI perspective, now these personal traits has converted to like the knowledge of AI, the tools of AI that he has to understood and align with the project management objectives. So AI and project manager has can be said that they are they are actually contemplating each other because one is actually providing a personal trait or personal experience or personal thing to the management project management, and AI is actually providing the tools so that to reduce the time and the cost. So all these elements are helping the project management, because we can see that in future projects the projects would not be limited to a certain amount. It would be the stake would be higher. If you are looking from the current perspective, the stakes are still higher, but not much complicated, because now there is a lot of AI in every field. So if project management doesn't include AI, it would be left behind. So it cannot be separated from the project management. AI would be there for future and would be increasing more and more.
Okay, so let us summarize today's discussion then. We discussed three major areas today. The first area was that the core competency of project management and the project manager's ability to use the standardized project management approaches such as the Prince 2 approach or the PMI approach. Successful project deliveries today are because of project management teams following the standardized project management approach. The second area we discussed about was the advent of AI, the use of AI, how AI is providing us a huge capability support in project management, and the future is very bright. A lot of data is available for data analytics, and with data analytics the project manager and his team are having an in-depth visual about the project and its requirements, addressing the stakeholders needs, addressing the strategic requirements of the business. Successful project management is a key, and we discussed that the future of AI with project management is for those people who are going to use the standardized core approaches along with the capabilities of AI. With this, let us say goodbye to all. Thank you very much.